Yo, what's up? It's Duke Skellington here, and today I'm going to teach you how to isolate and steal your favorite kick drum, snare drum, or any other percussive type sound out of your favorite song using nothing more than Ableton Multiband Dynamics. Let's go. So the first question you might be asking yourself is, isn't there drum synthesis programs? Isn't there great sample libraries? Like, why should I go so far as to actually steal something? So all of these are good questions, and I just want to be the first one to say, don't let this little hack, this little technique be your be-all, end-all. I don't want to hear about you guys writing songs only using this method. This is just one tool in the toolbox. I want to encourage you guys to do drum synthesis, to get good sample libraries, and I'm going to have some more tutorials helping out in those regards too. But this one's a quick little easy hack that does have some benefits. The benefits of using another person's kick drum, for example, is number one, you know it already works. If you're writing a song in a certain genre and you're able to extract a drum from their song, you already know it's going to work in that genre. Number two, it's going to be in key. So if their song is in G minor and you're writing a song in G minor, you're good to go there. You don't have to worry about tuning your kick. And the last reason is it just gets you off and going quicker sometimes. Like, I've had studio sessions where I wrestled with drum sounds for the first hour and I wasn't very productive that day because I just spent too much time working on that. Sometimes if you could just get a good solid kick, for example, in place, then you automatically can just start writing all the other elements of the track that build around that kick. And then even in the end, if you want to, you can replace that with your own kick. So it's just kind of a good starter. So those are the best reasons I can think of to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into Ableton and Multiband Dynamics, and we're going to get it started. Let's go. So I have a few right here. I'm going to give you guys a few examples of how this works, okay? So first of all, this one is Timburesco Trick No. Let's go ahead and just listen to the track real fast, and we'll dive into what we need to do. All right, so you can hear that kind of heavy kick. So first thing you want to do when you're starting this process is you just kind of want to isolate the sound that you want. Generally speaking, you're going to want to try to find the sound as isolated as possible already. In this case, I think the first kick right here is pretty good. It just has a little bit of a hi-hat in it, if you can hear that. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and isolate our sound. Let's make sure warping is off. It is. We don't need that. And then let's go ahead and make sure that our marker's hitting right directly on the first transient. Okay, there you go. You can hear that kick with that little hat in the middle. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and drop one instance of Ableton Multiband Dynamics right on the channel. And voila. And then we're going to divide this kick up into 3 bands. Normally what I try to do is I try to make the high band to be more the white noisy click kind of area, the mid band be the mid-end thump, and then the low band just be that low sub. It's pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and listen to each band and make sure we got the right settings for our bands here. Okay, that's our highs. Sounds okay. Let's check out our mids. So what I want to do is I want to try to get that. We're going to try to isolate that hat to one band if we can. So let's go ahead and just change our high frequency band until we kind of hear it get out of the mid. Okay, it's out of the mid for the most part. Now let's listen to our highs again. You can kind of hear how it does that 1, 2. And let's listen to the low band. Okay, it's just a sub. It's perfect. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do or triplicate this track, okay? And then on each one, on the top one, I'm going to solo just the highs. On the mid one, I'm going to solo the middle one, I'm going to solo just the mids, and on the bottom one, I'm going to solo just the lows, as you can see. And so now I'm going to group these all together, and when we solo that group, we have the same sound, right? So we're going to go ahead and freeze and flatten these 3. And then flatten. And as you can see right away, let's look at the high band. You can see that little click right there. I'm going to just solo these each so you can hear them. You can see where that hi-hat is, you know? So we don't need that. So let's go ahead and just delete it. In fact, we don't really need much of anything, maybe just right there. And then let's listen to our mid band here. You can still kind of hear a little bit of that hat. Perfect. All right, and then our sub band shouldn't have any of the hat in it, but let's go ahead and just play it. Great, so now we have our three bands of our kick, and let's listen to it. boom, there you go. It's just the kick. So then the next step in the process is we just go to resampling and we sample from that group just to get the kick all as one complete wave file. Boom, and there we go. We have our kick. And so what I like to do is I go ahead and just name it, give it a name. We'll call this trick no kick. And also, it helps if you kind of know the original key of the track. I think this one was in 3A, so we'll just call it 3A trick no kick. And then I go ahead and I consolidate. Actually, first I make sure that it's not clipping, and it's not. And if it is, all you have to do is just adjust the gain. In fact, I think I'm going to bring mine up a little bit. Consolidate. Bam. And there you have it. Trick no kick. We can just go ahead and go to show in Finder. And then if you have a folder over here of samples where you keep this stuff like I do, you can just drag that sample in there and start collecting all of these sounds. And you can see I actually already did, but just drag it in, boom. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You just divide up your sample into 3 bands, and then you basically take out the frequencies, then the things like the white noise, the hats, or whatever's in there that's not needed, and then you basically rebounce out each band by itself. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do it one more time. This time I'll do it in a drum and bass tune, and you can kind of see how you could do it in different styles. Check this out. You can hear we got a lot of ambience and stuff going on in there. So we'll go ahead and do the snare just to give you guys a little bit of a variety on this one. Let's see. Let's just listen to it and just see if there's any places where the snare might be more, you know, have less clutter going on in it for us. I'm just kind of dividing it up, hoping I don't get copyright issues on this. Let's see. I kind of, you know what? I mean, there's not, it's all over, the ambience is all over. So in a case like this, I mean, I might fast forward around here. Oh, there you go. Right here. There's a little bit less ambience here. I mean, you still have some sounds, but the goal is to just get it as much isolated as possible. So let's do that trick again. Create a new audio track. We got the snare. I just cut it. I'm going to go ahead and just put it to the front. There we go. We got our snare. Let's go ahead and just get to as close as we can to that first transient hit. Bam. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and drop our good friend Multiband Dynamics into here. Let's listen to these bands again. So the issue with this is there's pretty much no low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring the low up so we could just get the bottom end of that. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and triplicate our track, and we're going to solo each band and group. And let's listen to make sure it sounds good. Okay, sounds like what the snare sounded like. Let's go ahead and freeze and flatten. And again, you can kind of visually see what's going on in these bands here. With snares, it's a little different sometimes because it's just the way a snare is made is slightly different than a kick. So you're dealing with slightly different ways you might have to divide it up. But let's listen to each band and see. Okay, I just kind of cut out that ambient sound on there. Sounds fine. Let's hear the mids. This is interesting because we have some overlap. I'll try to get as close as we can. And let's hear the low. Interesting, the low has the most of the sound, so... And our goal when we're doing this is we want to try to cut out as little of the original like percussive sound as possible, and as much as the white noise, ambience, like whatever those other sounds are, we want to try to cut out as much as that. So you're kind of using your ears to decide where that line is with fades and stuff. But I think we got it pretty close. Let's listen to it on the group channel. And there you go. That's a nice smacking D&B rim shot. Those things come in handy. And let's go ahead and resample it. Perfect. And there you go. We have our snare. So basically, the whole process, it's really easy. Find the sound, use multiband dynamics to divide up the bands in ways that make sense, then sort of cut out the parts you don't need, then rebounce all of those parts back together as one sound and save the sound. Hopefully this is useful. Again, I hope this isn't a be-all end-all for you guys. I want you guys to learn drum synthesis. I want you guys to cultivate good sample libraries, but this does have its place, especially when you're in a pinch or you're just trying to make some progress real quick. I'm going to be doing some more tutorials on drum synthesis, drum design, all sorts of stuff, where I'm going to be teaching you guys all sorts of cool tips and tricks. So make sure to subscribe. Once again, I'm Duke Skellington, and thank you again. Have a great day. Peace.